How do you say the album's name?
Schlagenheim.
Schlagenheim. Schlagenheim. Schlagenheim.
As you worked out, it was a made-up word.
Yep.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yep. I did go Google. Welcome to CDR. I am Bryn. This is Matt. And this week we were listening to the album of
You can do it. I believe in you.
Shangri-La.
No, it's not. That's something else entirely.
What? Schlagenheim.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Schlagenheim.
Welcome to CDR. I am Bryn. This is Matt. This week we've been listening to Black Midi, Schlagenheim.
Yep, well done.
Boom, got it. The first album brought out in 2019. Yep. Black Midi is a four-piece band, London, and they brought with this album a high-energy experimental math
rock, yeah.
Math rock, noise rock.
And whatever else Wikipedia says about
and whatever they want to throw at it. But as Matt would explain to me last week, he considered this to be artsy, and we'll get into that.
Great.
Fun facts. You got any?
Oh, I mean, I have some about the songs. When we hit the specific songs,
Okay.
we can talk about that. But the most important fact is that they're releasing a new album in May. So we'll have to do that when it comes out.
Late
obviously.
May. I'm sure Matt's already EG'd this up pretty quick.
Well, I listened to the new track, John L. I actually don't mind it. Like, yeah,
They are going. They're doing something different.
that is very true.
As spoiler alert. Just a quick heads up. MIDI is spelt with M-I-D-I and
Like the
file, and it stands for multi-instrument digital interface, and that kind of just blends into one whole complex, overpacked musical instruments playing the same note simultaneously, and it's sometimes uncontrollably annoying. Matt, how was your week with this?
Great. I was looking forward to something with a little bit of teeth after the Sleepy album last week, which I still like, but I wanted something with teeth, and this has a lot of random teeth.
Yeah, this has got teeth of a raven, and hands of a porcupine.
Absolutely. This album, on the first listen through, I was pleasantly surprised with the diversity of tracks, despite the fact that it's still just drum, bass, guitar, and a little bit of synth. But they managed to throw a lot of ideas in, and even some of their simpler tracks, for example, like BM, 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 even though it is simple, there is still a progression to it. And I think some of the ugliness of the album actually complements the fact that it is noisy, mathy, and broadly experimental. So
do you want to explain math rock?
It's when you play around with time signatures and have it still fit well enough. That's basically in a nutshell. So if you can hear that the timing signatures are strange basically throughout the song, it has a math quality to it.
So along the line of most traditionals or most songs will be at a 4/4 beat, whereas in the math there will be like 7/8, 11.
Well,
8s.
I mean, take 9/5/3. I think it's 10/8. That's the timing that I feel gets played, but like there's almost no moments of 4/4 in large parts through the album. They play around with it a lot. But the moments of 4/4 usually are probably the punchiest and serve to contrast the disjointedness of the rest of the song. So I think they artfully use the different time signatures. So that's sort of what it means by that. So how was your week? Clearly it was a rager, hey?
This album caused stress in the car.
Elaborate.
Okay, so I wasn't driving. Wifey was driving. Baby's crying in the back. I'm talking, trying to settle. I'm trying to have a conversation with her, and this music is causing so much just sporadic noise, and it was just full too much for her that she almost had a breakdown because she's like, I just can't concentrate with this going on. I'm trying to drive, which us driving is already a stressful, one of the peak things that you can put your body at most of the time anyway.
But not without old mate in the background
not without.
There's lead in the water. There's lead in the water.
And it just comes at you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It would just be this nice little soft walk in the desert when you're listening to Western, and then at about 1:20 when you're just really cool, calm, and collected, it just goes. And you're like, oh my god! You just wake yourself up, and the baby shut himself, and Cass cried.
So fair to say, it's not conducive to young families.
No, this is a hard album to get through if you're not coming in with it with an open mind, or you just really want to have a laugh and think, this may just annoy a few people.
So for whatever reason, you needed probably a more accessible album this week, is what I'm hearing.
Probably.
Well, you had it last week with Tash, and
That was nice. That was sleepy.
it was absolutely sleepy, but I still don't remember any of the track names. Anyway,
Musk.
I lie. Coma, Pretty Lady. Anyway, so were there any tracks that you liked despite your harrowing week?
The longest track being Western.
See, I find that kind of surprising, but why? Why is that your favorite track?
I kind of liked it how it was a smooth transition as I was listening. I was like trying to come up with scenes and scenarios where I was like, it feels like I'm just taking my horse for a stroll through the desert, and then bam in the face, you get hit with the math and experimental change up, and then it just changes. It goes into a funky and then chaotic, and then it just finishes off with a nice little desert stroll again. This is probably the song, even though it's the longest, is the one where I would tell them you're probably going to get them. You're going to get quite a large variety and range from the album in this one song.
Do you think this is a good song to typify what Black Midi are?
Oh, I don't think Black Midi even will say this album describes us. If you want to do probably one.
So in terms of like the tracks there, I reckon tracks like, I mean, the obvious one is BM, BM, BM. That I feel accentuates what it is that the band's trying to go for. They're going for strange. They're going for experimental. They're going for these horrific vocals at times. They're going for like almost oddly meta lyrics because, you know, she moves with a purpose, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone else is sucking themselves off, but she doesn't care at all. She moves with a purpose. So like the lyrics have that artsy quality to them because they're just so fucking bizarre, really, if you take it on face value.
I would take that as, I don't know if that would try to be some sort of poetry or whatever, but when it comes to MIDI music or this experimental and math, even the vocals and the lyrics that they use just become another instrument. It's not meant to be any sort of focal point except for it to be a part of it.
Well, see,
and I get that with it, but I still just sit back on like, I fucking don't want to listen to this song.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not here to listen to it for and appreciate what it is, I actually think the ugliness is the quality of interest here.
That's why I say you go with an open mind when you listen to this album.
So, like, take for example the last track, Ductor. You know, the song is basically about not being broken until the very end, where he basically lets out like hideous shrieks as the albums come to a close. You know, he will not. He basically is going off his head, and it's grotesque, but it fits what the song is trying to do, and I kind of like that because it's interesting to me. It's not, it's totally off the wall, and that is a quality that interests me.
Yeah.
So in terms of songs, like my favorite is the one that we use as the hump up song.
The hump up song.
There we go. So Schlagenheim, you
I'm
get
quite
your nail
sweaty
first
after
time.
that hump up song.
Good. The Pump Up song is that near Detroit, Michigan track. I fucking love that track. It rocks so hard, and then it's eerily calm before the panic, and there's lead in the water, and it's fucking angry. And apparently, so this is one of the songs that went down the Reddit rabbit hole. Apparently, it's referencing some issue that happened near Michigan, where I think the town was called Flint, where there was like lead poisoning in the water. So it's an event that occurred. So add that to the harrowingness of the track.
So you're saying they're somewhat a little bit political?
No, not necessarily political. I mean, like, a bad thing can happen. You can sing about it and be upset about it. It doesn't need to be political. And this is clearly, if true, I have no idea about the event. Horrific, right? Like,
yeah,
there's lead in the water.
That's pretty bad.
That's bad.
They don't put that in paint no more.
What I found, though, is probably the front half of the album was not as good as the back half.
Oh.
Would you have... do you have anything to add to that?
No, I would say that the back half would be... I don't like this album at all. I think it's all just... I don't ever want to listen to it again. And I don't think any part of it is really that... I don't think the front is that good. I don't think the back is
I'm going to take
any better.
I'm going to take over the reins.
Like you're going to just tell me everything about why this is great and try and convince me, because I really dislike this album.
All right, let's do it. So 953 has that really disjointed intro riff. It comes at you in what I think is 10/8 based on the speed of the riff. It hits pretty hard, but it's a little bit disjointed, but it's flavored by that 4/4 bit towards the middle of the track, where it starts to rock out and it really hits a nice punk rock groove for a patch of the song, and that's the point of interest. The riff is bizarre in the way that it fits into the time signature, but I think that's the point of interest. And the lyrics are kind of floaty in the quieter parts. So self-righteous, do not lie. What does he say? What a contradiction. An eye for an eye. The lyrics are fun in their own little twisted way, and I think the part where it nails that 4/4 rhythm is great. The next track, Speedway, I don't really particularly like. It's the most block party song on the album.
Yep, fair enough.
Followed by Reggae, which has early block vibes early, right? But then it sort of comes down into a really mathy breakdown, resolving in some chords that really, really hit odd. It's an okay track. Like I said, the front half of the album I'm not in love with. Okay, so Near DT MI, I reckon it's the best track. We've already spoken about it. You like Western, so I don't need to convince you of that.
No.
Of Schlagenheim is probably the only track that's like meh for the rest of the album from my perspective, although it has like this really cool pulsing bass, staticky bass that happens with the vocal line about a minute into the track,
the bit of reverberation just bouncing back.
And we've already said it: teeth of a raven, hands of a porcupine. I mean, it sticks with you.
It does.
It sticks with you. BMBM. Do you want a bit of trivia about the track name?
Boom, boom, boom.
No, it's literally the sound of the guitar. That's all it does through the track is bump, bump.
There you go.
But so it's a non-title. It's literally the guitar riff. This song, I get the impression, is some sort of meta commentary towards, she moves with a purpose. Sort of, a lot of people on Reddit seem to think it might be a piss take at Instagram models. That's the impression that I got from some of them. And I'm like, I guess I could see that. But it's so widely open to interpretation that, I mean, if you just listen to it literally, you could get the impression that this person is fucking crazy. I mean, that's the impression that I got the first time listening to it. There's a creep, and he's looking at this chick, and she's moving with a purpose, but like, why is he so sure of it? Everyone else is sucking themselves off. It has that really ugly breakdown at the end where it finally kicks into gear.
Yeah, that like musical fit. Yeah.
I really quite like the aggression at the end of the track. Then you got Years Ago, which has like this really groovy intro before hitting out with all out and out aggression, and then the cha-cha-chas, just the real weird harping lyrics, and then you have Ductor to close it off. You'll never break me, into that bleeding, horrific, ugly ending vocal that sort of sets off the fact that maybe you are being broken. I think the ugliness of all of that, mixed in with the fact that the album art that pops up every time you look at it, you can't help but just look at it and see it as grotesque in an interesting way.
I think a lot of people look at the art and just twitch.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that the brief, what they wanted to set out to accomplish, they accomplished. And I guess I found it interesting, and you found it
Oh, it was interesting. Believe me, it
Okay.
is interesting. I just don't want to hear it again.
Okay.
Matt, as I will say again, you described it as artsy. I say it's on the tipping point of trash.
You can clearly see that they are skilled at what they do.
Oh yeah, well,
Is, for example, like, basically none of the artists that we've listened to, I think, are actually bad at what they do.
No,
there's
no,
a
but
ton
true.
of skill mixed in with this, and the fact that they could get like there's a skill to being ugly, and like they've hit it particularly well. I mean, I can't help but go back to like Clipping's album where they managed to mix in just the most disturbing sounds, and we were happy about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Even though I'd still sit back and go, that makes me shiver and creep and just like cringe every time.
yeah. But I completely understand that this is not very accessible.
No, yeah. Maybe once in a while we'll listen to something like this. Don't make it a habit.
Maybe in May.
Well, it will be different. I know it's going to be different.
Maybe.
They promise it's going to be a different type. They're always experimenting and trying new things and don't want to step back. So I'm pretty happy to hear the next one. Matt.
Yep.
What's your score?
I had a tough one scoring this one because there are tracks that I've liked and found interesting, but there are tracks that I wouldn't listen to again. I think the really good tracks on this album are enough to tip it into an album that I like. I think I liked this album broadly. I won't ever listen to like Speedway or reggae or, funnily enough, even Western again. But, you know, Near Detroit, Michigan is going straight into my bangers playlist.
It's in your bangers.
Oh, absolutely. That song kicks you in the face. It has like the best like Brit rock breakdown at the end of all the panic screaming as well, as I showed you just before.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna. I'm tossing up between 6.5 and 7.
Wow, that's a high score.
Well, yeah, I liked it. I can appreciate the talent that went into creating a lot of these tracks, and it is interesting the whole way, the entire way.
You are dead right.
I'm gonna sit on 6.5. How's that?
Cool. 6.5 for
Schlagenheim. Shangri-La.
Shangri-La. Yeah. Anyway, it's all the albums. I'm always going to say it's worth listening to at least expand your exposure to music, and this is definitely one that's going to make you go, "Holy fuck!"
This exists.
This really does exist, and it's quite popular. Yeah, go
New
out,
album?
Black Midi. Listen to the next one soon.
New album?
New album.
Ooh, what do we got?
It is by AJR.
I don't know who that is, so I'm
No.
worried already.
Yes, and the name of the album is OK Orchestra.
Are we gonna like have to go? Okay, yeah, fair enough. We're gonna go.
Everyone keep doing OKs, and we're just gonna fucking review them.
Okay, Orchestra.
Yep.
Okay, well, I mean, the title's pretty optimistic. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
What sort of? Do you know what the genre is? Can I have the genre?
It just says alternative. I literally just picked it for the title.
Yeah, well, you know what? I can respect that.
You should. If anything else, that's it.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm glad it didn't sound like a retaliatory album.
Oh no! Believe me, I was thinking about it, but I do have one or two up my sleeve in case you
This was hardly done in anger, right?
really after last week's me giving you Eminem.
I didn't hate. I mean, I didn't love the Eminem album. I didn't hate the Tash Sultana album either, and I thought this would be interesting.
Fair enough. I am glad that I only get to hear this once for a week.
Very good.
Okay, everyone.
Sleep time.
Oh yeah, super sleep time.
Yeah, bedtime. What time is it now? 5 o'clock? Yeah.
5 plus 5.
Sleep time. Good night, everyone.
Bye. I'm so tired.
Okay, Orchestra. Fuck,
Oh yeah, that's what I'm typing. Okay.
That's pretty great, actually. I can get behind that. AJR.